A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Saying, command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generation.
The eternal light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Light. This program comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This year, the literary world celebrates the 60th birthday of the great Hebrew poet Zalman Shneur. Today, in his honor, we present a script inspired by his poem, Chavarvar. The script, entitled The Dream of Jacob Meyer, was written by Alan Marcus and features Peter Capell as Jacob Meyer.
You know how many dreams are never dreamt at all, or how many are broken and never put back together again. I think there ought to be a law against it. Resolved, it is hereby declared a crime to injure or harm for any reason at all any dream or part of a dream belonging to me, you, or anybody. But no, that wouldn't work out too well, would it? Because then the sunlight itself would be guilty, and even the voice of a friend might have to be put in jail. Besides, how could you put handcuffs on a word of unkindness that was never even spoken? Well, I admit these matters are too much for me. As my wife says, I am a simple man. But I do have a dream to tell, and I suppose I better tell it quickly before someone does something to it. You never can tell how long a dream will last. Who can tell when dreaming begins? One minute I was lying in absolute darkness. Then suddenly the darkness vanished. I found myself in a long line of people before a theater marquee. We were all buying tickets.
Next, step up to the window, please.
Excuse me, miss. Could you tell me if the performance has started yet?
We never start until everyone's present, sir. Please keep the line moving there.
But I haven't paid you for my ticket.
Everything's been taken care of, Mr. Meyer. Usher, will you show Mr. Meyer to his seat?
This way, Mr. Meyer. Just follow behind me.
But you called me Meyer just now. Mr. Meyer.
Of course. Isn't that your name? What would you want me to call you?
I didn't tell you my name.
Why should you? Do I tell you how to breathe? Just follow behind me, please.
It seemed to me we walked for miles. One hall led to another, each larger than the one before. I don't have the words to describe the beauty. There were golden rafters and cornices of quicksilver, and we passed men with turbans on their heads, and men in robes, and other men in uniforms of foreign countries, all moving together in the same direction, all after all. Of course, it was very mysterious, but then it was only a dream. So I remembered not to be afraid. I think no one has a right to be afraid in a dream. After a long while, we came to 2 huge doors. Who could describe it? A theater larger than any theater built in the world. Walls that stretched higher than a man could see. Seats that seemed to grow before one's very eyes. And the ceiling. I remember the ceiling was made of stars.
This is your seat, sir.
Excuse me, please, but this seat is a little too far in the front for me. My eyes are getting a little farsighted. Couldn't I sit a little farther back?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. No changes are authorized. You see, there's your name on the arm of the seat. Jacob Meyer.
He was right. There was my name on the arm of the chair. A man can't refuse a seat that has his name carved on it. So I sat down.
Hello, Meyer.
It was the voice of my good friend, Amos. But I couldn't see too well in the dark, yet it seemed to be very near me.
I thought you'd be late as usual, Meyer.
Amos, I didn't expect to find you here, too.
Why not? Doesn't a man have the right to come to the movies if he wants to?
Tell me, Amos, what's the name of the picture here?
I come to the theater only to relax, Meyer. I don't care about the names of pictures.
My friend Amos always has an answer. But he never can fool his old friend Jacob Meyer. Then I knew he didn't know any more about it than I did.
Meyer, what are you staring at over there?
Look, 2 rows from the front, isn't that the governor? Huh? And 3 rows above on the right, there's 3 generals sitting together.
Stop staring, it's not polite.
And over there on the left, those costumes are from the Orient. And there's a prime minister sitting in the front.
The Prime Minister can come to the theater to relax, can't he? Please stop staring, Meyer.
All these seats. More than a lifetime of counting. I can't even see the end. What theater is this, Amos? Who could build such a theater?
We're just here to relax. Aren't we? Why bother about such questions that can't be answered?
Amos, is it also a dream for you, too?
Look, Meyer, there go the lights dimming. Now maybe we'll see something for a change.
I knew then that he was as uncertain as I, and at the same time, inside, he was just as curious. It made me feel very good. If Meyer and Amos were uncertain, then perhaps so were the governor, and the generals, and the prime minister. It made me feel much less alone in the world. Then it began. First the music. There was something about the music that disturbed me. I could feel the tension in Amos. And then, as if to reassure me and himself, Amos whispered,
Divinity Productions. Meyer, did you ever hear of Divinity Productions?
Shh, it's beginning.
So it was.
Look, Mike. It's a cartoon. An animated cartoon.
That's all it was. It was ridiculous to be afraid. And here was a reassuring, friendly voice that came from the screen.
Once upon a time, in a city like all of yours, filled with men, mice, weather, and taxes, there was born between a barrel and a closet in the warehouse of a man named Olive, the newest addition to the population. And what was remarkable about this newest citizen was not that he was born of a large, normal family of black mice. That was not so unusual. But
and his 11 brothers and sisters crowded in to take a look. They could hardly believe their eyes.
The little black mice actually rubbed their eyes. It was very amusing to see.
A white mouse.
Ridiculous. Whoever heard of such a thing as a white mouse?
What are you staring at me for? Quiet, you little monstrosity. I'm thinking. What are you thinking about? Be still, you calamity. I'm trying to think of a name for you, you poor red-eyed imitation of a mouse.
Why don't we call him Whitey? Whitey, Whitey. Whitey, Whitey.
Whitey, Whitey, what an awful sight.
Children, shame on you. Stop laughing right this second. Shame, children. This is your youngest brother. What if he does have a white coat? You let him alone. Go away, all of you. Don't cry, little white one. Go to sleep. Sleep, little mouse, while others sleep. We will see what fortune your white coat brings. Sleep, little mouse, while others sleep, and dream of cheese and pleasant things.
It was rather touching. She was telling him to dream within my dream. It was absurd that we should sit there. One would think that generals and prime ministers had something better to do with their time than to watch a movie cartoon. But there they sat, all eyes and ears, just like myself, and no one made a move to go. It could only happen in a dream. But I remember what happened next very clearly. All the brothers and sisters of the White Mouse held a meeting.
Brothers and sisters, we have got to decide the best way to get rid of a certain M-O-U-S-E.
I second the motion. He always gets to lick the cream first. Disgusting color, white.
Brothers and sisters, who can suggest a plan? We need some kind of a plan to work with.
How about pushing him into the pickle barrel?
Fine. You have one volunteer to push him into the pickle barrel. Out in the other...
Wait a second. Who volunteered? Oh, no. I didn't volunteer. I'd like to, but, well, you know, I get dizzy in high places.
Who volunteered to push him into the pickle barrel?
He could be led to the place where the cat sleeps.
Good. You will lead him to the place where the cat sleeps.
No, I couldn't. Not me. My feet are full of chilblains. I'm afraid I won't be able to.
Anyone volunteer to lead him where the cat sleeps?
Perhaps he could be caught under a bag of flour.
Excellent. We appoint you as a committee of one to see...
Not me. I'm awfully sorry. I'll have to decline with regret. I'm allergic to flour. It makes me sneeze. Terrible.
Whom can we count on to arrange the flour bag so it will fall on a certain M-O-U-S-E? Is there anyone who volunteers? Doesn't anyone want the honor?
How about you, yourself?
Me? Well, I, as the eldest, I feel I have a duty to keep myself free so I can advise the rest. The eldest should always advise.
Brothers and sisters, look who's coming toward us, speaking of a certain M-O-U-S-E.
Oh, that loathsome white coat. I'm nauseated.
Pretend we don't see him. Ignore him. Pretend we don't even know he's here.
Stare at the cellar floor. Look down, brothers and sisters. Everybody bow their heads.
Hello, brothers and sisters. It's a very nice day for eating cheese. I have come to tell you about a place I have discovered where there is a huge chunk of cheese. All a mouse has to do is crawl through a tiny tunnel, and there's the cheese. What a smell.
Stupid idiot. That's a trap he's talking about.
Oh, what's a trap?
As if we'd be foolish enough to fall for... What's that, you ask?
What's a trap? Don't you know what a trap is? No. Is it something to eat?
Brothers and sisters, he doesn't know what a trap is. Oh, what a terrible thing for a mouse not to know how to enjoy a trap.
We must tell our dear youngest brother. Whitey,
Every mouse has a right to know how to enjoy a trap.
Oh, tell me, please tell me.
Dear youngest brother, a trap is one of the best friends of mice. It's there the cheese is stored. All a mouse has to do is discover a trap, and he has the right to all the cheese in it.
Lucky youngest brother, you have discovered the trap, and you have the right to eat all the cheese in it.
Oh, but there's enough for all. I'd be happy to share.
Who would think of such a thing?
Oh, no, that would be selfish of us.
But we'll all go with you and watch you enjoy your trap. That's how it is decreed. Your right to eat, our right to watch.
Oh, what a treat he has in store, hasn't he, brothers and sisters? Wonderful, Peter, wonderful.
Lead the way, youngest brother.
It was very amusing, this movie of the mice. I will tell you something strange. Although it was full of comedy and very funny, something stopped me from laughing. I could not bring myself to laugh. And all around me there was no sound of laughing, not a single sound. Somehow the destiny of the little white mouse had become important. Why should it have been important? It was only a dream, and only a mouse. But when we saw him sniff the cheese...
Smells wonderful. Brothers and sisters, are you sure you wouldn't like a bite?
Oh, that wouldn't be fair. It's yours by right of discovery.
And so the little youngest brother with the white coat entered the trap.
Enjoy yourself, youngest brother.
Brothers and sisters, I don't think I want any cheese. Help me to get out.
You got in. You get out.
I can't.
Just be patient. Mr. Olive will come to empty the trap. You get out.
Something strange had taken place on the screen. I thought it was my own hallucination, but Amos noticed it too.
Something peculiar about the faces.
How do you mean, peculiar?
Well, one minute they look like mice. The next minute they look like the generals and the prime minister. Oh, but that's crazy, Meyer.
Is it, Amos?
Sure, absolutely crazy. Meyer, is it my eyes or does the black mouse at the end look like me?
How could I answer him? Because the second mouse from the end looked like me.
Let's not betray our sanity. Meyer, you can see it's only a story of mice in a cartoon. Even in a dream, people should be rational. After all.
After all, what? What? How did Amos know it was a dream? It was my dream, not his. How did he know? How did they all know? All the people in the theater. And the prime ministers. And the generals.
Children, I've brought you a present. A white mouse.
It was Mr. Olive.
Have you ever seen a mouse as nice as this one?
Never. Father, can he be my pet?
Of course, Rachel. But share him with your brother.
I know. We'll build him a little wooden house, and we'll put him on the dresser between our beds. Hello, little mouse. Would you like a little drink of water? Would a little mousey-wousey? Oh, he's so cute.
And for a while, the little youngest brother with the white coat lived happily in a little mouse palace which the children built for him. The girl made him a coat of silk. The boy brought him cake crumbs dipped in milk. While in the cellar, 11 brothers and sisters gnawed at their toes with jealousy. But so great was the joy of the children that they forgot school and neglected their chores. They even forgot to say their prayers. One day their father became very angry.
No more, children. It's done all over. We'll not discuss it.
I want my mouse. Where are you taking him?
I said we'll not discuss it.
But, Father, you gave him to me.
I have decided.
But,
I
Father...
want no arguments about it. I expect obedience in this house. I am your father.
Yes, Father.
That is an end to the entire matter.
The mouse hasn't done anything.
And neither have you. Why, since he's come, nothing has been done. Play from morning to night. Nothing but the mouse. Very well. If you and your brother choose this kind of behavior, it is my duty to punish you. The mouse is finished.
Don't kill him, Father.
No, I'm not a brute. I'll set him free outside the town. 4 walls in a cage. That's no place for a white mouse. It's practically an act of mercy.
I ask you, is a white mouse on a country road such a tragic thing that you should sigh over it with long faces? But there, in this theater of my dream, more men than there are numbers to count made a huge sighing sound. Jacob Meyer, I sighed with the rest. The field is so wide, the tree is so tall, and the mouse is so minute and alone, and so afraid. The little mouse cowered under a leaf, and the sun did not warm him. But then there came a sound. The sound drew nearer. Around a bend in the road, there came a man with a flute to his mouth, a man with music, but such a one as you have never seen. His cheeks were scarred, and his hands had been terribly seared by fire. He walked unevenly, for one leg was shorter than the other. Yet he possessed the illusion of height, very great height. When he saw the mouse, he stopped.
Don't be frightened of me. I also have known pain.
He stretched out his hand, the hand that had been seared by fire.
Come, I shall not hurt you.
This is how I dreamed it. The musician stretched out his hand, and the little mouse came.
You and I, we are brothers. You are lonely upon an empty road, and I also. Come, we will go together.
Wherever they went, the people came to marvel at the musician and his mouse.
We understand the meaning and the nature of destiny, this mouse and I. Good people, give us silver and open your hands to us, and we shall tell you the future.
For miles around the people came to see, and to distant lands there went tidings of a soothsayer who played upon a flute, and of a little white mouse that perched upon his shoulder. In the 7th month of their wandering, men in uniform came to them and escorted them into the palace of the king.
Soothsayer, His Majesty is waiting for you to foretell his future.
Let His Majesty open to me his hand.
My hand is open, Soothsayer. What do you see?
Take the mouse in your hand.
I am the king.
Take the mouse in your hand. Or is the mouse greater than the king, because you tremble to take him up?
Do what you want, but be quick. What do you see? Well, we're waiting. What do you see?
Sire, it is written in letters larger than the distance between 2 stars.
Speak up.
First, return the mouse. Your Majesty, this is what is written. The captives of the mighty shall be taken away. The prey of the terrible shall be discovered.
Go on.
There's nothing more. Consider the words, Your Majesty. The captives of the mighty shall be taken away. The prey of the terrible shall be discovered. Your Majesty, this is sufficient for you to consider. I bid you good day.
What is the progression of a dream? And what does it begin? And toward what end does it go? Who can explain it? A mouse? A child? A musician? A king? It was senseless. Suddenly, the 11 brothers and sisters of the White Mouse reappeared, and the musician played a melody on his flute. And the White Mouse, the little youngest brother, spoke again.
The evil have dug a pit for the righteous, and have made it deep, and have fallen into the pit they have digged.
I wanted to laugh. It was amusing. It was a burlesque. Why couldn't I? Why didn't laughter come from my lips? Why didn't Amos laugh? Why didn't the generals laugh, and the prime ministers, and all the people in the theater? Why was there a silence? Why didn't they applaud or speak or go out? The film was done. Yet it wasn't done. For the face of the musician had grown very large. In the silence of the theater, Amos, who sat by my side, stood up and spoke to the face of the teller of fortunes.
Sir, I have no use for your parable. All I care about is to live in peace with my family and my friends. I should like you to express your ideas on the subject, simply, so that I can know.
Amos sat down. Then the face on the screen answered.
Cast away from you all your transgressions, and make you a new heart and a new spirit. For I have no pleasure in the death of him that dieth. So saith the Lord God. Wherefore, turn yourselves and live.
I knew then. He beside me was no longer Amos, my friend. I knew where we were. We were in the place of the world, among men with faces of friends. And there kindled in me a slow warmth, which entered the marrow of bone and the deep places of my heart. And there came a sound of flute again. And behold, the words were, Sachki, Sachki, al ha-chalomot. And this was their meaning. You may smile at all my dreams, but I still believe in you. Man, in a strong spirit, in brotherhood and peace, in the future of mankind, though it be distant. And I, Jacob Meyer, I lifted up my head, and it was I who was singing.
Today's script, The Dream of Jacob Meyer, by Alan Marcus, was inspired by the poem Har Var Var by Zalman Schneer, leading Hebrew poet, whose 60th birthday is celebrated this year. The music was composed by Morris Mamorsky and conducted by Milton Catons. Cantor Robert H. Siegel was the soloist. Peter Capell was featured as Jacob Meyer. The entire production was under the direction of Frank Patt. Free time to present The Eternal Light is made available by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. If you have any comments or inquiries about today's broadcast, please write to The Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generation. The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, Cain and Abel, is the first in a trilogy entitled The Brothers by Peter Lyon. Ralph Bell will play Cain, and Donald Bucher will be heard as Abel. Incline your ears to my word. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter sayings of old. I have seen violence and strife in the land. Day and night they go about. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. And it was not an enemy that reproached me. Then I could have borne it. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my brother. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived, and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And in process of time it came to pass...
A foolish season of my ear, and this must happen.
Hush, Adam, and hold still.
Days stretching long, sun swinging in its warmer course.
Does that hurt?
Hurt, of course it hurts. Not so much the stab cut in my hand as how my pride is bruised.
Keep tight this cloth upon your wound, and do be still for once. You'll start it bleeding fresh.
A countless million jobs before me, flocks and land, the fence is where the boy is. Abel! Cain! 1 moment. I'm coming!
There, it's bound. But I'll not vouch how long it stays.
All right. You wear me down with talk.
What happened, Father?
Where's your brother, Cain?
I'm here. Whose blood is this? You cut yourself? How?
I plucked up our old dull scythe that I might sharpen it.
I had done it.
So I found.
I only thought to help.
Where's the joke? Let us share it, Cain.
Excuse me, Father. I had a picture in my mind.
Yes? Go on.
Poor Abel, always helpful, always wrong. Now once more again.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
Abel did right. What's wrong is what I did, and now your laughter. Always helpful, always wrong. So helpful you might more times be nor go amiss.
Now, Adam, you know Cain meant nothing wrong.
Well, now with more of work than 6 could do, there'll just be you to do it. You too.
We'll make out.
I've thought of how to split the tasks. Abel, you to tend the flocks, and Cain will till the fields. Understood?
Yes, sir. But wait.
Well?
Can't we take these tasks by turn and turn about? Abel, you do that. Why not?
Because I say not. The work's to be done the way I say it.
But for him who tills the fields, you know yourself, sir, that's the greater task. Bending to the harrow for hour after hour under the sun.
No.
But, sir, when Abel here himself has said...
And while you're in the fields, Cain, reflect on how it is to be always helpful, always wrong.
Cain, it's true. You are the stronger and the older. What's right is what your father says.
It's understood?
It's tribute, brother, to your muscles.
Understood, Cain?
Yes, sir.
And so Abel was the keeper of the sheep, and Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Abel, falling asleep under a tree in the heat of the day, his sheep by mischance broke into Cain's fields, and the new grain was trampled, and what was green and growing trod upon.
Abel. Abel.
Oh, what a pleasant dream you woke me from. Is it late?
Too late for you to save my damaged wheat.
Too late? Your wheat?
Get on your feet and take a look. Unless, of course, you still are overtired from sitting at your ease and counting sheep.
What has it happened?
There, look at what your sheep have done. The fence pushed down. My wheat. And over there, the garden.
Cain, you hurt my arm.
It's not enough you have the lesser job to do. You can't do even that.
I'm sorry, Cain. If there was something I could do to make amends, at least I swear it shall not happen twice.
I'll see to that. Just wait until tonight.
Tonight?
And see how pleased our father is to learn of what you've done.
But Cain, wait.
Well?
I can't do more than tell you I am sorry. I can't put back your grain to rights.
So then?
But when I do say sorry, Cain, you won't forgive?
Forgive? Grow up. Don't be a sniveling baby for all your life.
And it came to pass that Cain, tasting his spleen, strode home that night.
Cain, your late supper.
Ask Abel why. He left me more to do. Just wait and hear what happened to the fields, and all because
Sit down and eat your soup. He's told us all.
Told you?
Your soup is growing cold, my son. Your brother's sorry.
He shouldered all the blame. The milk is spilt. There's an end of it.
I offered, Cain, to take your job and give you mine. If that would make it up in any way.
Well, that might be.
I told him none of that. The work's cut out for both of you to eat what he knows best. The soup is good.
Here, Cain, some fresh baked bread.
I can't believe you know the worst of what was done this afternoon, sir. His sheep, and all the time he slept, broke down 2 rods of fencing.
He told us
trampled
3.
all the grain beyond the well and started eating all that's green in Mother's garden.
He told us, Cain, and more.
I said the milk is spilt. What would you have me do? What's done is done, and he's apologized.
He speaks 10 mealy words out of a mealy mouth, and there's no punishment. Except for me, who must tomorrow start all over and undo his mischief under a broiling sun.
Now, here's enough! I said the boy was sorry. The Lord taught me, and I have tried the same to teach to you. When there is wrong, where there is sin, be it against the Lord or man, then must the heart be humble and contrite. This done, there comes forgiveness.
If only I'd got here first.
Now I think of it, why haven't you forgiven him?
And now I'm in the wrong?
Have you forgiven Abel?
I'm sure he's meant to, Adam. I'm sure it's in his heart.
I'll hear him say so.
But Father, Cain is right. Since I who did the wrong have still to suffer for it, more than have I in my heart.
Still I'll hear from Cain.
And so I have a plan, sir. If you will hear me.
Yes?
To sacrifice some lambs and make of them an offering unto the Lord.
Well, now
And so you kill a sheep or 2. Does that bring back my grain?
Hey!
Is this my firstborn? Speak.
What fearsome talk is this? Your temper takes a captive of your tongue.
If I have sinned...
If! This is how you fear your Lord?
Oh, Cain, my son, look deep into your heart and pray.
And Abel, this is good, your plan. You'll make your sacrifice first thing tomorrow. And you, Cain, so will you. Abel for what he did this afternoon. You, Cain, for your black and angry temper and for your darkling thoughts.
I'd sacrifice a better part if I'd been shown my wrong.
No more! You'll say no more about it. Thanks be to God that he's not struck you dead for what you said this night. Atonement comes with sacrifice. Look well, your heart is purer in the morning.
So, Abel, you look cheerful.
I built an altar, Cain, over past the thicket. I hope it's big enough.
Cheerful and well satisfied with all that's happened.
Cain, I hope you...
Yes?
No matter.
The clouds are piling up the storm. We've picked an ugly day for this performance.
Perhaps the Lord is angry.
At what and whom?
At him who knows it in his heart.
If that's a hint,
I've loved this lamb, the best of all my flock. I watched him play and skip around.
You're killing him, the fattest of the flock?
To see him was to laugh and know that life was good and happiness and love the best things in it. Where's my knife?
The plumpest lamb. And now I'm sure you've lost your wits. Why not the lean and stringy ewe?
Oh, Cain, you're just as poorly timed.
I jest.
But what's a sacrifice, if not the best? Where's the sign of humbleness of spirit? Where the token that you love the Lord? I look at all my flock and choose precisely him whom I love best and whom I'll miss the most.
Well, as for me, I was thinking just a while ago, here's how I'll rid the fields of all the grain that's spoiled. Take it all and dump it on your altar. That way it'll serve some purpose, do some good.
Cain,
There's a certain fitness to it, too. It cries aloud. The fault was never mine.
The storm. The storm is coming.
Here's the first big drop of rain.
Oh, Cain, now here's a portent. You must not do it.
I'll maybe do it, and I'll maybe not.
But show you fear the Lord, or he will be terrible in his vengeance.
At first it was my whim. But now, and just to show that I know right is right, I'll brook that vengeance.
Cain!
You two are ready for your sacrifice?
The early morning rainfall feels so fresh. I'm happy all is working out so nicely. Abel, you've picked out your choicest flesh.
The knife seeks home. There's your answer, Eve. A succulent and juicy lamb. Firstborn.
And fattest of the flock.
And Cain, you'll comb your crops for only what would fill the horn of plenty.
I've made my choice.
My good son.
Right, Abel? You heard me reach resolve?
I heard you, Cain. And I would hope to hear another word.
What's that? What's that you said?
You know what's in my heart.
What's this?
Ask him. Ask him who does so right and speaks so fair.
You two, I never heard such childish bickering. Two cats are quarreling over a fish's head. What is it, Abel?
It is his sacrifice. He thought to tell me what he planned to do this morning.
What I still plan to do.
And all at once there came a crack of thunder.
And so the rain fell down. And he would have me think the two were tied together, push and pull, come and go, cause and effect.
And so I heard within me.
What, Abel?
Cain, you've changed your mind.
I must go. I've got my sacrifice to gather.
Abel, what is on your mind?
You'll change your mind, my brother?
You heard me say my whim is my resolve. I'll prove what's right and show how I was wrong.
This rain will scarcely help your offertory, Abel. Eve, you should go indoors.
The sky is clearing. It's just a shower.
Where are you off to?
I want to talk to Cain. The black look on his forehead.
Well, bid him hurry, or his day is gone and no work done.
And now Eve approaches her firstborn, and if his brow is dark, hers is clouded with concern.
Cain.
Hello, Mother.
You're feeling better now, son.
Better? Better than when? I feel taller than I've ever felt and mightier. You know the feeling? When the world seems small and all the things around us are dwarfed because you close your fists.
I'm worried, Cain. I think so much about you both, your future, what you do, but you especially, Cain. You don't remember how when you were young you brought your problems to me every day.
My problems?
They were childish things.
My problems? I remember none. The way I feel, I'll stretch my height to any man's. Or yes, to any god's. I feel my juices in me. I hear voices, or one at least, a voice that says, "This is your day. You'll show them all. And if they're blind to what there's in you, never fear, you'll leave your mark."
My son.
Don't look so worried, Mother. Or not on my account, at least. Now, look. The shower's clearing. Only that one thundercloud still holds the sky. The portent Abel pointed to is gone.
You're gathering only tares and broken wheat to bring to sacrifice.
Why should I not?
I pass no judgment, Cain. I'm just observing.
Is this not fitting use for what the sheep have trampled? It's not the surest way to show what I think, who know I'm right.
Who speaks to you? Your mother. Learned what's wrong so many years ago. Learned that sin is in desire and good in self-denial. Cain.
Yes.
You know you're doing wrong.
You think?
You'll change your mind, my son. Admit that wrong is wrong.
My fist is closed. I'll do what I shall do.
And it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain...
Quickly, the storm will break again. Abel's lamb is on the altar. Cain, you ready?
Here's my fruit.
You'd offer that in sacrifice?
Cain, it's here what I'm bringing on the altar.
You'll learn your lesson, son.
Now then, let us pray to God that he may see what you have brought.
A miracle. The lamb consumed in vile smoke. But what Cain brought?
Untouched.
And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
And now I see there is no justice on the earth, nor in the heavens above.
What talk is this?
Oh, Cain, I begged you to heed the portent. Portent? Portent of what? A cunning conspiracy that would bind me around with chains of do this, and that is wrong. Now apologize, and meekness is its own reward. Well, listen, not for me. No, not for me.
Hey.
A law is no better than its best respecter. And I can find no feeling but contempt for what I've learned this morning.
Cain.
Abel, go about your business quickly.
Father,
You hear me? Quick! The flock should long ago have trotted out to pasture. Go on, get going.
Yes,
Cain, I told you I was worried you'd tear my mother's heart out.
Oh, Mother. But you know I've done no wrong. You know that nothing's happened where the blame can fall on me.
The Lord says, Cain, if thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. And the Lord says, but if thou doest not well, then sin lieth at the door.
No sin lies at my door.
It lies there, Cain. It lies there like a mountain lion, waiting, watching, seeking its chance to spring.
Not for me. I take no blame for what has passed.
I've had my say. If you're a son of mine, you'll find it in your heart to pray forgiveness. And in the future,
yes,
to be more like your brother.
You say the same thing, Mother?
I've never known a time when prayer wasn't good for me. Oh, Cain, you'll find so, too.
Prayer.
Now to your fields, Cain. The morning's wearing on. Keep in your heart what we have told you. Let us know at supper time how you will fare.
I'll give a sign. I think you'll recognize the mark of how I fare.
And so it came to pass that Cain and Abel his brother were alone in the field. And Cain talked with Abel his brother.
Hello, Cain. I have something on my mind. I'll make it short and sweet. Before the sun is set, before it's dusk, you will have left this farm. Gone away. For good.
Gone? Gone where?
I don't care where. Call it the land of Nod, call it exile. It's all one to me. Walk from here to where the nearest river flows and trace that river to the sea. I don't care. I don't know what you're saying. You want to drive the sheep and cattle home. Leave them to me. I'd rather you not come too close to home again. You've seen your last of both our father and our mother. Send your farewells to them on the wind.
Have you gone mad?
It's very simple. Two such men as you and I can never longer stay in one same place. It's you or me.
And you?
We're first one here, and therefore last to go. You've been a favorite long enough. The choicest food, the softer bed, the simpler job, the kinder word, all smiles and honey.
I can't believe you mean this, Cain. But if you do, then think again.
Don't raise your voice to me.
Now listen, Cain. I'm peaceable enough.
And so was I. Who owned the blade in Father's side and so his hand was cut? Who cadged the job? There's no job but sitting in the shade. It's trivial to your muscles, Cain. Who fell asleep and so my fruit was trampled in the ground? Whose idea the sacrifice? Whose fault that now I'm black with fury so I can proudly speak?
You twist the truth with every question mark.
Be glad it's not your neck I twist.
I don't believe that you yourself believe what you have said. As though I'd cut our father's hand myself on purpose. What motive do you think I have to cross you, Cain?
And now you'll try sweet reason.
What cause have I given that you should take this tone?
You look so clear and guileless.
As God's our witness, you must know I love you.
A worm that gnaws and gnaws and eats away at what regard they had for me. The slow, dark, poisonous suspicion that you've planted in their minds against me.
Cain.
And so they grow to hate. And all the time you smile, a sleek, smooth smile.
I can't believe it.
What innocence. Why, I'll propose you witched that storm up in the sky this morning crying portent and praying to your God against me in your secret heart.
My God, the God of Hesed of
Teach me no gods. My muscles are my gods. They teach me there's a prayer in each fist.
I know you're stronger.
That's how you go?
Go. But Cain...
Make me an answer. Are you going?
It cannot. Cain! Oh, Lord. I thank you for me.
For me? You pray for me? Be selfish to the last, get best. And pray your prayers for yourself.
No. Oh, no, good brother, no!
And it came to pass that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. The voice of the Lord spoke, saying, Where is Abel thy brother?
I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Then saith the Lord, The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
Now where to go? Oh, quick. For every man that finds me now will slay me.
And the Lord said, Not so, accursed, for my mark is on you. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Abel, Cain.
Hey!
The sheep are scattered up the hill. Now where could they have gone?
Abel! Cain!
You'd think they'd hear your shout. I'm frightened at him.
Hey! You hear me? Abel!
It's so unlike them to have wandered off. You don't think
Yes. Grass with the blood. Oh, no. Don't look upon it. Look down or back to home or up to God. Never look at me. Abel. Oh, my baby. A lion that crouched by his door has sprung upon a cursed kid. See? There's manful flesh in Abel's hand. I won't leave the witness from my eyes. Cain's bled. He'll feel the hand of heavy vengeance.
Now where is God?
He's mourning Abel's death. And so do we. He's in our hearts. It tells us to be strong. My baby's dead. And when these two were born, you said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And so you'll say the same again. Come. I'll help you down with you.
And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, which is to say exile, on the east of Eden.
Hello, my name's Lilith. What's yours?
I'm a stranger here. My name won't mean anything to you.
Well, you don't need to be so bashful.
My name's Cain.
Cain? Cain. You don't look like a stranger to me.
Go ahead, say it. You've heard of me.
You look familiar somehow.
Yes.
Well, you don't look as though you'd care about anything that might happen.
I don't.
Strangers should be welcomed when they arrive in a new land.
Do you worship the Lord in this new land?
Never heard of him. Anyway, I only worship one thing.
What's that?
Strong young men with hard muscles like yours.
You're pretty, Lilith.
Think so?
You can help me.
I can. I'd like to help for some things.
Just help me remember only the future. Forget the past.
Look at me. Look in my eyes. Are you thinking of anything but the future? You don't remember the past now, do you?
Yeah.
And it was not an enemy that reproached me. Then I could have borne it. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my brother. And there was heard a voice saying, Thou art thy brother's keeper. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity together. Our Eternal Light drama today, Cain and Abel, was the first in a trilogy entitled The Brothers by Peter Lyon. Next week, the story of Jacob and Esau. The music was composed by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Milton Catons. Ralph Bell played Cain, and Abel was played by Donald Duca. Cantor Robert H. Siegel sang the liturgical introduction. The entire production was under the direction of Frank Pack. Free time to present the Eternal Light is made available by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. If you have any comments or inquiries about today's broadcast, please write to the Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation, and it shall be a statute forever in your generations. The eternal life. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Life, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, Jacob and Esau, is the second in a trilogy entitled The Brothers by Peter Lyon. Donald Bucher will play Jacob, and Ralph Bell will be heard as Esau. Hearken to a testimony of wisdom. There are many devices in a man's heart. Pride and deceit are there. There also are humility and contrition. My brother, I put forth my hand to mischief, and my tongue was perverse. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. His contentions are like the bars of a castle. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife. And Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled within her. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his name was called Jacob. And these brothers were like the myrtle and the thorn bush, which seem alike in their early days, but when they attain to full growth, the myrtle is known by its fragrance, yet the thorn bush is known by its thorns.
At your study still, my brother?
At them still, Esau.
But why? The sun is sliding down the slope of afternoon. Come on, what's more to learn?
What more? I've only learned from all I've learned. How little I've learned.
Jacob, look. You see the copse of laurels just beyond the river?
Yes?
In that grove there waits a maiden, black-eyed, laughing, with tender hands that curve and pull my hair and stroke along my cheek. Just think, my brother, she is waiting. Here's knowledge you can't find in books.
Esau?
I bid my Judith call her sister, if you say the word.
No, please.
Oh, brother, younger brother. Are you blushing?
Well, you're of one birth, you and I.
Ha-ha. But I'm the older, Jacob. You'll admit it. I'm the older.
What, 60 seconds?
Enough to claim the birthright, Jacob. What, 60 seconds? A brief eternity, my brother, younger brother. And so I'll head the family when our fathers...
Now, that's enough.
You're sure you will not come with me and learn your lessons lying in the laurels?
Go on, Esau, go on.
Ha-ha. Now, there's a stupid scholar.
Jacob.
Mother.
Don't be alarmed.
You were standing there. You heard where he was going?
I know my children, Jacob. Nothing that I hear from you or him can grieve me. I know you both.
And you were standing there for all the time.
I know what's in his heart and yours, who are the older.
But he's the older. You told me that yourself. You bore him first.
You're hunters, Jacob, you and he. You both hunt men.
I? But I'm a...
And if one son hunts men to take their souls from God, and if one son hunts men to bring their souls to God...
Now you're speaking little.
Why, then the answer's plain. Who brings the souls of men to God must claim his birthright. Jacob.
Mother.
You'll puzzle out this riddle when the moment's ripe.
And it came to pass that when Abraham's years which he lived numbered 175, that Abraham asked of his son Isaac to send to him his two grandsons Esau and Jacob,
that he might bless them ere he died.
Who is it? Tis I, sir, Jacob, son of Isaac.
Jacob. Kneel here, Jacob, by my hand, where I shall see you. Your brother is not with you?
No, sir, he is hunting in the fields, as is his wont.
Hunting. It is as well, my son, for what I have to say is for your ears alone. Let rest your hand in mine. That's it. My eyes are not so bright as once they were. Your father told you I would give my blessing?
Yes, sir.
It is not so. When I am gone, the Lord will do what seemeth best to him.
What he will do is right.
But, Jacob, there is something you should hear before I go. No blessing, but instruction. Whenas your father follows me to God, who then will guide our family in his ways, who help our people prosper, keep them well and unified together, who keep the peace among our warring cousins, who judge the rights and wrongs that happen in each day throughout all lifetime, who guarantee our seed will multiply, who keep our name perpetuated down the ages.
My brother Esau is the firstborn.
True, your brother has the birthright. On him, by settled custom, will devolve the headship of our family. And yet...
What would you tell me, sir?
You know I know you do the better job. You know I know your brother's weak, a man of lust.
No, it's
Don't interrupt me, Jacob. Least of all to contradict the truth you know is true. Your brother Esau tricks men into liking him. He doesn't fear the Lord, respects him not, scorns worships, spends his days in idleness and gaming. Is it not so?
It's so.
You think because I'm old I cannot see. Now then, let's turn to some less painful matter. What I ask of you is this, that all your days you do what should by birthright be your brother's task. Strive to keep our people praised throughout the land and keep their footsteps in the ways of God. You promise me?
I'll do my utmost, sir.
Good. That's all, my son. Now ask your mother if she'll come to me.
And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 160 years. Then Abraham expired and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And the heart of Jacob was heavy within him. And as with sorrow he was preparing a dish of food, behold, his brother Esau came in from the field, and he was faint.
Jacob, quickly, steal and look across the meadow. Is there a sign of any running in pursuit?
Of you? Just look, I'll tell you why. There's no one.
Good. Now then, look here. Just see what I've got.
Why, it's the...
Yes, the hunter's magic cloak. I'll have to hide it somewhere.
But that belongs to Nimrod. How came it to your hand?
Oh, ye gods, I'm tired. I'll wager I've run 6 miles this afternoon.
How came you by that cloak?
And hungry, too. Where's meat?
How came you by that cloak?
You want to know? I killed him.
Nimrod?
Him and his 2 bodyguards as well.
Oh, Esau.
I fought them fair. They're 3 against 1. So now the cloak is mine. The magic hunting cloak. There's none can say that Esau is not now the strongest, bravest hunter in the land.
Esau.
And if there's none pursuing, why, then that means there's none to know what I've done. And now I'll eat. What's on the fire? Why, this is only lentils.
It's all we'll eat today.
But why?
Because our father's dead. He died this afternoon. And what he spoke before he died was true.
He's dead? Well, what have lentils got to do with that?
Because they're round. And ever roll around as death and sorrow also roll eternally around among all men. Now coming to this one and now to that. So it's symbolic of our mourning for his death to eat them now. For he will know we grieve. And so will love us for it.
You mean this nonsense?
Esau!
This is talk for fools. So Abraham is dead, and that's too bad. But he was very old and surely would have died. If not today, why then the next day or the next. Now, Jacob, please. The dead are dead and molder in their graves, but I'm alive and want to eat.
The Lord has said...
Oh, Jacob, come now. You're along with me. No need for all this pious talk. Come, I'm hungry. If that stew is all there is, why, give me some of it.
You mock the word the Lord has spoken. On the very day he died, and while your hands still drip the blood of those who murdered, yet you scorn the memory of Abraham and do dishonor to my grief.
I'm sorry.
You sorry? You don't know the meaning of the word. You do dishonor to your birthright.
And now I come to think of it, what avails my birthright? Will it keep me warm? Or can I eat it as I'd eat the stew of beans?
Esau!
I'll tell you what, my brother, here's a trade. All yours, the birthright, if I get the stew.
And I believe you'll do it.
Why, sure I'll do it. Here's my hand to seal the bargain. Shake?
I'll shake. And here's your stew.
You look as though you hope I choke. Now, that's the shrewdest bargain ever struck. Oh, you fool. The birthright. What brains you had or addled. It's too much prayer has done it, that's the fact. Beans taste good. And can you say the same for what you got?
The birthright has no taste. And neither power has a taste.
What's that? What power is that?
The power that I won when you despised your birthright, Esau. Younger brother.
And so you have the birthright. Why then sad?
I do not like the way it happened. Trickery is not the tool of honor. Esau looks at me and looks...
My son, you've prayed.
I doubt that God will hear my voice.
When next you kneel to pray, why, ask yourself, who was it offered first to trade the birthright for the lentils? Was it you, or was it Esau?
It was Esau.
Then why do you say trickery?
Tell me, Mother. Do you think all's happened for the best?
I do and do, my son.
Then will you tell me now, what meant you by that little when you called me older of us two?
Not now, my son. Not yet. The moment's still not ripe.
And it came to pass that Isaac their father was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see. He called Esau his oldest son, and said unto him,
My son.
And Esau said unto him,
Behold, here am I.
Behold now, Esau, I am old and know not when will come my time of death.
But, Father...
On this night does God unlock his storehouses of dew, and angels sing his praises, and ask of him to grant us rain. It is time for favor, and he smiles. Now, therefore, son, take up your weapons, your bow and quiver, and go into the field to hunt me game.
My arrows never will have flown so true.
Bring to me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me so that I may eat once more and bless you ere I die.
I'm off, and I'll bring back the plumpest venison you ever tasted.
And it came to pass that when Esau had gone to the fields to hunt for venison, Rebekah sought for Jacob, her younger son, and when she found him, she spake unto him, saying,
Now, Jacob, we must act with speed. Just hear what's happened.
What?
Sent your brother Esau out to hunt him meat.
So then?
But don't you see? He means to give to him when he returns the blessing that by right should go to you.
But why by rights to me?
Don't stand about and waste our time with questions. Quick, I'll need 2 tender kids. You choose them from the flock of goats and bring them back to me.
You mean you're going to trick our father?
See, I'll swiftly cook them, cunningly, to suit his taste. And then you'll take it to him. He will eat. And in the sight of God, you'll get the blessing as is right.
But where's the justice? Surely if my father wants to bless my brother Esau, he knows best.
You ask for justice. Was it just for you to take the birthright when your brother hungered? Was it?
Esau made the offer.
Jacob struck the bargain. No, my son. And justice here cries out that Esau is not worthy to be blessed.
But my father...
Would himself know whom to bless, had he his eyesight. Now his very blindness is an omen in our favor. Go, I'll warm the pots to stew the meat.
But, Mother, Esau is a hairy man, and I am smooth of skin. Now, if our father stretches out his hand and finds me out, then I'll be cursed, not blessed.
Why, then, I'll skin the kids and drape the skins around your arms and neck. I warrant you'll be hairy to his touch.
Oh, dear Mother, I'm torn. Such trickery, not twice to so supplant my brother.
Son!
Don't ask me to do this thing.
So you're quite willing he should lead our tribe.
He lead?
And so his evil shall supplant your righteousness. His sloth, your industry. His blasphemy, your piety. His sins against both God and man prevail against your wisdom and your good.
No, no.
So shall he then regain the birthright?
No.
The moment's come, my son, to answer you the riddle I once put. You'd rather never trick your father and your brother thus. Your opposition does you honor. But I say you must. And here's the why of it. For years I was a barren wife. We prayed the Lord to grant me children, and he heard our prayer. I conceived. And from the first, and deep within, my womb was racked with strife. I prayed the Lord and asked, if this be so, why am I thus? God answered, there are two within thy womb, two warring nations in thy bowels, each contending which shall be the master, which the slave. One strong of fist, the other strength in prayer. He, though younger, yet shall rule his brother. You're the younger Jacob. You've found strength in prayer. You must rule.
This is the word of God. And I must fight my brother.
It is the word of God that he shall serve who first was born. God grant that you and Esau shall one day make peace and live together friends.
Amen.
But now to work and fast, or Esau will return. You'll choose the kids.
I'll do it.
And Jacob went to the flock and fetched from thence 2 good kids of the goats and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said,
My father.
He said,
Here am I. Who are you, my son?
It is I, your firstborn Esau. I have done as you commanded me. Arise then, if you will, and sit to eat the venison, and so your soul may bless me.
Ah, the smell is rich and good. Just set it here, my son. I never thought I'd eat so soon. How is it that you slew the deer so swiftly, son?
The Lord your God was good enough to smile on my pursuit.
What? You give the credit to the Lord? There's a puzzlement. It's more like Jacob to give thanks to God.
Don't vent your mind, sir, with such trifles. Eat, fall through.
A moment, it will wait. Come over here, my son. Come close to me. I wonder if you really are my son Esau or not.
But, sir, you surely doubt me not.
Come here to me. I touch your hand.
Yes, sir.
Voice, Jacob's voice. Sure, these hands are Esau's hands. Forgive me, son, this blindness fogs my mind.
There's nothing to forgive. I've only sympathy for your affliction, sir.
But you are sure that you're my older son, you're Esau? You are he?
I am.
There, now's the time to eat. Just bring it near me. Set it down.
It's here, sir.
Good. And now, I'll give my blessing. You are on your knees?
Yes, sir.
See, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field, blessed by God. And so may God give you dew, yea, from heaven, and of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. And you shall sow the ground, and it shall be fat and plenteous. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be all that bless you.
And it came to pass when Esau came in from his hunting and learned of what had happened that he was very wroth with his brother Jacob. And he sought his mother out and taxed her with the knowledge of what her younger son had done.
You burst in here. You'd talk to me.
I think you know what Jacob's done to me. I look at you and now I think you know. And you approve. And now I know you planned what he has done.
What do you mean? You're speaking to your mother.
Look at me and tell me that you had no hand in what he did.
What's this? A son of mine now dares to frown and stamp his foot and try to stare me down.
Ever since I married Judith, it's the same. Just because you hate my wife, you side with Jacob and you plot against me with my father, and you count the days until you drive me from my home. Is it not so?
You overreach yourself.
From you, such accusations come with sorry grace.
You'd best be gone. Goodbye.
I'll leave. I'll leave you with this vow. The days of mourning for my father are at hand. And when he dies, then will I slay my brother Jacob.
And Rebekah sent and called Jacob her younger son to her, and said unto him,
Behold, your brother Esau purposes to kill you.
As I feared. Now must I go and speak to him?
Not now, no, Jacob. Not while he is burning in his present rage. Obey my voice. Arise and fly to where my brother Laban lives and stay with him.
But what I did, it was not wrong. It was the word of God.
Go on, my son, go on. Pack up your things. The meat and bread and cheese. I've seen your brother talk to him and know what he proposes.
Mother, I would like to talk to him myself. I would like to make my peace.
When you return, a fortnight, nevermore, I'll send for you. You'll go. Do this for me, your mother asks. I could not bear it if my son should harm my son.
My mother asks, I'll go.
And it came to pass that Jacob went out from Beersheba and went to Haran into the land of the people of the east, into the house of his mother's brother Laban. Nor did he sojourn there for just a fortnight, nor yet for just a year. For it is told how Jacob stayed with Laban his uncle for 20 years, working for him, tending his flocks, marrying his daughters, and learning his responsibility. And it came to pass that after 20 years Jacob had much cattle and maidservants and manservants and camels and asses. And he set out to return to Isaac his father in Canaan with all his kinfolk and his flocks. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother, and he commanded them, saying,
This shall you tell my brother Esau. I have sent to ask in hope that I'll find grace with him.
And the messenger returned to Jacob with word that his brother Esau was come to meet him. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men.
Now had I hoped my brother Esau would forgive. But if he'll not, then all I can is put my trust in God.
And Jacob bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him. And they wept.
My brother, Jacob, 20 years. They've left you handsome.
I had feared you came with men to fight me.
What you did is done. I cannot love you for it, nor yet would seek revenge.
Then you will forgive.
Forgive? You seek too much.
But Esau...
Tell me, who are these that come behind you?
Here's my family. These are the children God has graciously bestowed upon your servant.
But these flocks of cattle and these camels, all these servants...
They are yours, my brother, if by giving them I find forgiveness in your eyes.
No, I have enough, my brother. Content yourself that we can compromise by living each and letting live. A soldier's patience being stretched may snap.
We live in peace.
But not together.
No.
Our ways are different. You look upon the face of God.
And you?
Goodbye, my brother.
Yet my heart is with you, Esau. Better after 20 years. Stay. There you will. And God be with you.
And the days of their father Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac died and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him in the cave of Machpelah, where his father and mother and his wife were buried before him. And when he was buried, then Esau said unto his brother,
And now we should arrange the sharing of our father's wealth.
So soon?
But Jacob...
Yes, you're right. You always were a man to face the facts.
There's one fact sure. Despite your trick of years ago, I'm older. So it's I should have the right to take first choice of what he left.
You're older.
You deny it?
No, I'll strike a bargain for you, Esau. See, one portion is his gold, his silver, cattle, flocks, his slaves, and all.
That's one. But what is left?
This cave. This cave of Machpelah, and Isaac's claim upon the Holy Land which God did promise would be his.
But Jacob...
Yes?
That land. The Canaanites, a mighty people, hold that land. Now how avails the promise of your God?
You choose the wealth, leave me your land?
You always were a fool. I choose the gold. You take the promise of the promised land.
And this is the testimony. My brother shall dwell in his tent on the hill without me, and he shall walk in all his ways without me. For our unity was broken upon the rocks, and our peace is troubled. Eternal Light drama today, Jacob and Esau, was the second in a biblical trilogy entitled The Brothers by Peter Lyon. Donald Bucher played Jacob and Ralph Bell Esau. The music was composed by Morris Mamorsky and conducted by Milton Cadens. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical introduction. The third part of our trilogy next week will be Joseph and Benjamin. The entire production was under the direction of Frank Papp. Free time to present The Eternal Light is made available by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. If you have any comments or inquiries about today's broadcast, please write to The Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. Saying, command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generation. The Eternal Light.
National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, Joseph and His Brothers, is the third in a trilogy entitled The Brothers by Peter Lyon. Alexander Scroby will play Joseph, and Edgar Staley will be heard as Pharaoh.
And there was in Egypt a prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. Dozens and scores of those who had found disfavor in the eyes of the courtiers of the king, whose name was called Pharaoh. And it came to pass that one day Pharaoh sent and called, and the keeper of his prison went hastily into the dungeon and called forth from the dungeon one prisoner.
Where's water? Water. Drink for mercy's sake.
Quiet, dogs!
Oh, my tongues are parched.
A drop of water for the love.
Past the time appointed for our meal.
The taste of my whip to cure your thirst. Which one of you is Joseph, born a Hebrew?
No, not me.
He's over there.
I'm Joseph. What would you with me?
Follow me. Quick, no questions. The rest of you, your food and drink is coming when I please. Here's clothing, Jew. But first you'll wash and shave.
Is that an order or an invitation?
The word has come from Pharaoh he would see you. Would you come to stand before the king in rags and lousy from the dungeon?
He's not my king.
Now listen, you.
I'll wash and shave and wear clean raiment. Not to please your king, but just to advertise how clean you keep this pest house.
Would there was time to teach you proper oath, mighty Pharaoh.
Your razor's lost its edge.
Remember, when you get there, he'll be thrown atop a flight of 66 steps. His crown outshines the sun. He stands 6 cubits tall, while you're nothing but a Hebrew slave, a worm, the dust beneath his feet. You hear?
I hear.
And when you enter, you're to knock your head 3 times upon the floor. And when you speak, your eyes must be averted, lest his glory blind you before he satisfies his whim in bidding you to come.
Is this the best you've got for clothes?
Ungrateful dog.
Call me a dog. I swear, if opportunity presents while I'm with the king, I'll so contrive that those poor devils down below will teach you how it feels to have the lash across your back.
What, slave?
Enough! Which way will take me to your king?
Pray you'll not chop your head off, slave. This way. Remember, thrice you bow and scrape your head before him. Follow me.
So speak until you're spoken to. Turn left and up those steps.
Does he wait impatiently? Is this the dog? I'll never comprehend the workings of our Pharaoh's mind. He comes. Come down, O Hebrew slave! O Pharaoh, live forever. Behold the Hebrew slave.
Begone, all save Jacob.
Your will be done, O Pharaoh.
So this is Pharaoh.
You looked for more?
Where's the king 6 cubits tall? Where the dazzling crown of amethyst and gold to blind my eyes? Where the throne atop the 66 ebony-encrusted steps? Where the mountain lion putting at your heels?
You must concede my courtiers do not lack imagination.
I'll concede a stupid effort aimed at making men believe you're more than man.
But you're not fools. All you see is just a feeble man grown fat with callous life, whose hair is falling out, whose hands are soft and pale.
That's right.
Your eyes are very sharp.
If you would shrink a king down small as man and smaller,
Yes?
then spend 2 years in that king's jail. See who's imprisoned. Ask the reason why. Learn how poverty is a crime in Egypt. See the cunning punishments contrived for those who have contempt for that king's courtiers and fail to seek their favor. Witness how they're whipped and starved each day. Count the bodies of their dead each evening. Then skulk home by secret alleys, take a mirror, steal a look at that same king, and see how you have shrunk.
Your tongue is bold for one who was born a slave.
I was not born a slave. In Canaan, whence I came, my father is a chief of rank and honor, and I his favorite son.
And yet a jailbird here in Egypt. What was your crime that you should be in jail?
My crime?
1,000 pardons. What did they say you did who clapped you under iron?
Invite your answer from the wife of Potiphar, your captain.
The wife of Potiphar. Yes, let me see. A sultry wench. Zuleika, that's her name. Roving eye, flirtatious disposition. And I'll wager she's had affairs with 20 strong young... Why, you're the sort of youngster that she'd have. I see it all. She winked, and you went walking past. I'm right?
Yes, sire.
So scorned, she screamed, claimed you attacked her,
and lands me in jail. You will forgive me, sire. I cannot join your merriment. Her waspish tongue has kept me jailed for these 2 years.
Yes, of course. Slight punishment for such a dreadful crime.
There were those among my jailmates that done less, but there they were, and on your orders, sire.
Young man, you seem persuaded of your own superiority.
In Egypt, Pharaoh is the law and should ensure the justice of his law, and should inquire why is it that his law, and thus his very self, is hated by his people.
Strong words are like the piercings of a sword.
I am no courtier, sire.
That's evident enough. You know I bid you come?
No, sire.
They tell me you're wise beyond your years. It's true you're wise enough, although a slave, to tell a king how he should be advised.
I speak my mind.
They told me you could pass the meaning of a dream.
A dream?
Surely dreams are child's play for a man who'd give instruction to a king.
A dream is filled with many strange devices.
All the wisdom of my wisest men has founded on this dream. I've highest hopes that you will not fail me. You seem so certain of yourself.
If God is with me, I'll translate your dream.
Do I detect some slight uncertainty? Who is this God that you must call upon? Almost as though you needed the excuse that should you fail, 'twas only he that failed you.
I'll hear your dream and wrest the magic from it. Go on, speak.
In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored. And they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine, and when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as at the beginning. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears of corn came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin and blasted with the east wind sprang up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And those were my dreams.
Your 2 dreams say the same thing. The 7 kine are 7 years. The 7 years of corn are likewise 7 years. And God is warning Pharaoh. After 7 years of plenty cometh 7 years of famine. Both dreams were the same. In Egypt there will be a time of plenty, then the lean years will consume the land.
Now here's a wise interpretation.
And God is teaching Pharaoh. Harvest shrewdly. Set aside 1/5 of all your Egypt's food for each of 7 years and store it up in granaries against the 7 years of famine.
My wise magician spoke of 7 kings a-quarreling and 7 cities toppled in the dust, 7 wives and 7 sons, a farrago of witlessness. You say your God advised the symbols of my dream?
He so ordained.
Who is this God, and where is he? I'd like to look upon him.
Can Pharaoh look upon the sun and not be blinded?
Of course not. Your God's the sun?
My God created sun and moon and stars. If Pharaoh can't look on the sun, then...
All right. I'll never seek to grasp the mysteries of God, and those of man are prickle sharp enough. What matters now is that you've passed the meaning of my dream.
God helping me.
And that your God, at the same time, suggests a meaning that will take 12 years and more to verify.
Don't
answer. You will just deny it. Joseph.
Sire?
You have much wit, a quality to be admired, and you have pluck. There's need for such a man as you at my right hand.
This is a grim and heartless jest.
I mean precisely what I've said. My wisest men are fools. My bravest captains fops who scarce can lift their swords. I need a man to rule my land.
You choose a slave?
You cannot even act the part of slave. Besides, I like the way your God advises you. If he can make you wise and so discreet, so then you'll do the same for me.
I'll open up the jails and free the men whose crime was being poor.
There was a time when I was poor myself.
If I'm to rule the land, I'll change your laws, with new and better men to force them.
You said my laws had fathered only hate.
I'll have your word to back me up.
I give this ring from off my hand to seal our bargain. There.
Praise be to God.
As you say. Go, call the palace guards. I'd have them know that I have set you over all the land of Egypt.
And Pharaoh put a gold chain about his neck, and they cried before him, Bow the knee. And he was ruler over all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by the handfuls. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number. And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians,
Apply to Joseph, do whatever he shall say.
And Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold unto the Egyptians. And the famine waxed sore, and the dearth was in all lands over all the face of the earth. And Joseph sat at the right hand of Pharaoh, and spoke with his officers.
You've published my decree in all the foreign lands, Arabia, Phoenicia, Canaan.
It's as you ordered, sir.
Decree? What decree was this?
An offer, mighty Pharaoh, sent to all our neighbors, telling them to come and buy our corn whenas they lack.
Our corn? Invite our deadly foes to buy our treasured corn? You must be mad.
No matter what their tribe, they are our brothers. God has said that we should succor those who want.
You'd feed our bloody-handed enemies and make them strong?
If we are rich and sell them none, then they are foes. If they have none and buy from us, then they are friends.
That's true enough. You mix your charity with wisdom.
Officer, you're sure that my decree has reached as far as Canaan?
Certain, sir.
Then set a watch at all the city's gates and bring me word when certain men from Canaan, sons of Jacob, come to buy our corn. That's all.
It shall be done as you've required, my lord.
Canaan, sons of Jacob, friends of yours?
My brothers.
Oh, you plan a feast to honor them?
I plan revenge.
What's this?
It was they who sold me into slavery. Tore off my coat, then tossed me in a pit alive with snakes, then flung me to a band of Midianitish merchants, into bondage for 20 bits of silver.
Oh, that's the way of it. I wondered how you came to be a slave.
I've waited for this moment 20 years.
Now, by my gods and yours, the day has never passed without fresh testimony of your subtlety. Oh, wisest, slyest serpent thou.
I'll see them squirm.
Who else but you would free the poor unjustly jailed, revise our laws to benefit the general, as though each was your flesh and blood, feed the hungry from whatever foreign land, insist all men are brothers, but not ever swerve an inch from your most just resolve to kill.
My brothers.
No sickly sentiment, no conscientious qualm. Did ever king rejoice in such a viceroy?
Will you excuse me, sire?
Not going, you.
I have much to do before I stop.
You'll surely let me witness your revenge.
I'll tell you if my brothers come. Farewell.
He is young, and therefore stubborn. Yet you change his mind.
Jealous because our father loved me best. Some silver coins, the price of 20 shoes. 2 years in prison, 20 years from home. I've cause enough to kill, and I've the means. Their blame is black enough. My blood is blind. I know them not as brothers, but as foes. And yet there was a whisper in my heart crying me off from vengeance, speaking soft of loyalties and love and lessons learned, of sweet forgiveness for the cruel wrong. But I'll not listen to that secret voice. Come!
My lord, the men you asked about are here.
Then send them in at once. I'll see them now.
All right, come on. My lord, the viceroy waits. Come on, you.
Which one of you is spokesman for the rest?
I'll speak, my lord.
Your name?
Is Judas, sir.
Whence do you come?
We've come from Canaan, sir, to purchase corn.
You lie.
My lord.
My men report that you're spies. They say that you're come to see the nakedness of our defense to plan a war.
But this report is false, my lord.
What's that you say?
We're true men, my lord, and all one father's sons. We're no spies.
You say?
Your servants are 12 brothers, sir, the sons of Jacob in the land.
12, you say? And now I know you lie. I count but 10.
Our youngest brother, Benjamin, remained at home.
And where's the 12th?
He's dead.
Ah. A quick, convenient death to fit your lie.
My lord!
Have done. I still suspect you're spies, and here is how I'll test your story. One of you I'll bind in chains as forfeit. Go the rest of you and fetch your youngest brother back, if such there really be. So shall your words be verified.
My lord! What you propose is harsh, for we are peaceful men and only come to purchase corn.
Will you select your hostage, or shall I?
I'll stay. But Simeon, I'll stay. It was I who would have killed our brother Joseph years ago. Now, therefore, this distress is coming us from God. Get all your hence for home. I'll stay.
Oh, God, arrest this man and cast him into jail. You others, speed you on your way if you would save your brother's life and prove that you are honest men.
Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn and to give them provision for the way. They laded their asses with the corn and departed thence, and came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan. But Simeon their brother was bound in chains. And in Egypt Pharaoh spoke unto Joseph, saying,
You promised me I'd witness your revenge.
It's yet to come.
What riddle's this? The 10 are here and in your hands, but you sent 9 away. Almost as though you hope that they'll escape your wrath. You think that they'll return?
I sent them for my mother's son, my only fullest brother, Benjamin.
You'd slay him, too?
He's innocent of any wrong. I love him best of all, and now I yearn to see him once again.
You're confident that they'll return?
Why not? Why should they have suspicion of the Pharaoh's viceroy?
And you still plot revenge?
I've steeled my heart.
I wondered.
Never fear, they'll be repaid.
And it came to pass that Joseph's brethren took of the best fruits in the land for a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds, all this as a present. And they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And they said unto him,
Behold, my lord, your servants have returned.
You've brought the proof that you're honest men?
Once more we number 10, my lord, for here is Benjamin.
May God be gracious to you, Benjamin.
My lord believes we are not spies.
And is your father well, the man of whom you spoke?
My father has good health, my lord.
And Benjamin, you have a wife?
A wife, and lo, 10 sons, my lord.
10 sons. How are they called?
My lord should know I had a brother once, my mother's son who disappeared. And so my children's names are each symbolic of his loss. Bela, meaning my brother's lost. Meyer, he was the firstborn to my mother. Ashbel, our father grieves his loss. Gera, he dwells in some strange land. Naaman, he was exceeding fair. Ahi, he was my mother's only other son. Rosh, he was the wisest of us all. Mopim, his heart was good. Mopim, he did not see my wedding day. And Ard, he will return one day.
You must have loved you.
If now my lord is satisfied, we're not
He doesn't hear you, Judah.
Have you forgot, my lord, our brother Simeon? My lord!
And so, my son, revenge no longer smiles so sweet.
Oh, Pharaoh, so long to wait, and now there is no room for both within my heart.
Your brother Benjamin has come with them?
And memory twists in me like a knife. He was a boy when last I saw him, and now he's a man. For his and for our father's sake, I'd summon up forgiveness.
Yes?
And I remember how I pleaded, how I called to them for mercy, how they laughed and jeered and stripped the coat from off my back. I see again their cold contempt.
How can you know they've changed?
That's it.
How surely know their manners now, or not assume? A careful, sly hypocrisy they wear when as they stand before a mighty Lord.
Yes, how?
I conjure up a test.
Go on.
Should you, for instance, take some trinket, say this golden goblet here, it would serve, and cunningly contrive to thrust it in among your brother Benjamin's effects.
Yes?
Apologize for doubting they were honest men, you see. Then bid them all Godspeed. Direct them on their way.
But how can...
Then straightway send some soldiers in pursuit. Arrest them all, accuse them all of theft, which, when denied, is proved.
It's proved that Benjamin...
Announce in angry tones that he who stole the cup must thenceforth be your slave and serve you all your life. And then...
And then?
Why, then you wait and see. What will they do? Take to their heels and flee? Quit their youngest brother? Satisfied to keep their own skins whole?
I see.
Or will they fight? Cry thunder in your teeth, flash out their swords and swear to die protecting him who is their flesh and blood? Which, if they do...
Forgiveness comes.
And they'll be worthy brothers of my viceroy.
An artful scheme and fair. I'll give the word at once.
And Joseph commanded the steward of his house, thus and so, and it was done according to his word. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, the soldiers overtook them, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. And they rent their clothes and returned to the city. And they came to Joseph's house, and they fell before him on the ground.
What deed is this that you have done? When you not that such a man as I can certainly divine?
What shall we say unto my lord? What shall we speak? How shall we clear ourselves?
Now, for this wrong I'll serve a judgment. He in whose hand the cup was found shall henceforth be my slave and stay with me in Egypt.
Oh, no, Benjamin.
As for you others, get up and go in peace unto your father.
My lord.
What would you?
If we return to Canaan, and our father sees that Benjamin is not among us...
Yes?
His life is bound up in the life of Benjamin, his son. Without him, he will die.
But what concern is this of mine?
My lord can spare an old man's sorrow.
And did he think of that who stole my cup of gold?
My lord, I pray thee, mercy.
Mercy's no concern of mine.
My lord, I swore unto my father, if I bring him not to Canaan, then I bear the blame forevermore.
So then?
So therefore, sir, I pray thee, let the lad go with his brethren.
No.
Wait! And I will stay myself to be your bondsman in his place. That you say. That I would stay myself to be your bondsman in his place.
It is vindication of the test.
My lord.
Oh, Judah, brother. I'm Joseph. I'm your brother and your father's son.
What say you, Joseph? The lost is found.
Yes. I'm your brother Joseph, whom you sold in bondage into Egypt. Be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that you did sell me. God ordained that I should thus be sent here. For lo, 'twas given me to save your lives from famine.
My brother is the leader of us all.
And we're forgiven?
More. We're reunited. Come. For Pharaoh waits to bid you welcome.
I give you greeting. Here's a happy time. Of thorny ethics taken root, and now the flower bravely blossoms. Unity. How stern a task for many to make one. Your 12 contentious, selfish selves forgot, your dozen aims now welded into one. A difference is most easily achieved, but only those are men who learn to stand and fight together for their right. Arise and go now. Take the news to him whose sons ye are, and say it is my wish that he and all his tribe come down to live in Egypt while this famine shall endure. Your brother Joseph wears the purple here. He cannot leave. His home must come to him. And if your father should object and say he's no Egyptian, nor can find a home down here where men have always warred with Jews, tell him that Pharaoh's royal helping hand is humbly offered in his need, as, when one day I need, he'll offer his in turn. This is the truth that Joseph taught to me, then learned himself, that every man is keeper for his brother.
Our Eternal Light drama today, Joseph and His Brothers, was the third in a biblical trilogy entitled The Brothers, by Peter Lyon. Alexander Scourby played Joseph, and Edgar Staley was heard as Pharaoh. The music was composed by Morris Namorsky and conducted by Milton Cadens. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical introduction. The entire production was under the direction of Frank Papp. Free time to present the Eternal Light is made available by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. If you have any comments or inquiries about today's broadcast, please write to the Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olives, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations. eternal life. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Life, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's dramatization, entitled Special Performance, was based on fact and written by Milton Wayne and features Gary Merrill as Corporal Devens.
When the circus came to town, I remember we used to run like the devil down the wide lawn and line up against the fence with our faces pressed between the bars. It wasn't a big deal, not our circus, because the orphanage was in a small town, just small enough to fill a tent for a one-night stand. As the wagons trundled by, painted orange and blue, the horses dozing in the heat, the drivers almost full asleep, as the parade came by the orphanage, the lion, the leopard, the camel, the one lone elephant, the zebra, all the animals would gaze out between the bars of their cages, and we would gaze back. And between the animals and the orphans, there was understanding. And then the sawdust cavalcade would wind out of sight, lumber around the barn that stood on the crest of the hill, and it would be gone, and all the kids, all the orphans, me and the rest, we would look after it, waiting until the very last wisp of dust settled and was gone. The last time I saw it come was when I was 12.
Listen, Willie. Huh? Hey, look at the line. Do you see the line? Willie. Huh? You came to bust out? Run away, you mean? Yeah. Run away where? With a circus. How about that? Circus? Huh? What do you say? When? Tonight. How are we going to bust out? I got a key that fits the back door. Where'd you get it, huh? Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lie. We'll get whipped if we get caught. Yeah? Says who? Well, okay. Tonight then. Sure, tonight. Hot dog. Well, you up? Okay, Steve. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Come on, wait, my shoes. Carry them, okay. Coast is clear. Oh, no, Beelzebub be surprised. Oh, boy. Shut up. Come on. Here's the key. Here, open up. Hurry. Yeah. What's the matter? I don't know. Don't fit. You don't. It fit before. Let me try. Go ahead. No luck? Oh, mackerel. Now what are we going to do? Now what, huh? Okay, wise guy. Now what? Listen up. Well, for the lover, the door's open. How do you like that? It's open. Yeah. Steve, listen. Let's go. Steve, what's the matter? Yella? Says who? Well, you coming? Sure. Then let's go. Let's make a run for it. Come on, Willie. Here we go. I'm hungry, too. Stop talking about it.
When you're hungry, you gotta talk about it.
shut up.
What's over there?
A zebra.
How do you know?
I saw its picture in a book.
Looks like a jackass. Does it fight?
Nah.
How do you know?
Read it in a book.
Who wrote the book?
How do I know?
How do you know the fellows that wrote the book knew for truth that zebras don't fight?
So, okay. So zebras fight.
I thought you said they didn't.
Oh, for
Hey,
God's
what are you kids doing here?
Shut up, Willie.
Ah, so you're running away. That's it, huh?
We'll get out. Don't worry.
Now, wait a minute. You kids aren't hungry, are you?
Nah,
He's a liar. We're starved.
Willie.
Well, I'm starved.
How'd you like some breakfast? Wagon wheels and Java.
Wagon wheels?
Pancakes.
Oh, boy.
You gotta earn it.
What do we do?
You see those pails down there? Those pails down by the well? You gotta fill them up. Animals are thirsty.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. We get breakfast for watering the animals?
That's right.
Well, throw in 2 tickets to the show and we'll do it.
I don't know.
That's the deal.
Okay. That's the deal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all right. Step right up, up. 10 cents, 1 thin dime for the greatest show on earth.
Hey, mister.
The most awesome, exhilarating spectacle in the world.
Hey, mister.
Fantastic, hair-raising, death-defying act. See the line tamer, not spine-chilling act. Go away, boy. Step up, ladies and gentlemen. Not a dollar, not a half, not a quarter, but a dime, 10 cents. Don't miss this awe-inspiring.
Hey, mister.
Get away from me, boy. You bother me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, step right up for the greatest show on earth. The most awesome, exhilarating. Go away, boy. Fantastic, hair-raising.
Hey, mister, you promised us tickets.
Huh? Oh, it's you kids.
When we finished watering all the animals.
We had a pick the day the camel got first.
You said you'd give us...
Yeah. So I did. Hey, Sheriff. Come and get him. Here are your kids.
Why, you...
Now, hold it, kid. Come on now, no fuss.
We didn't do nothing.
I know you didn't, but I gotta take you back to the home. I'm sorry, kid.
We don't want to go back.
Reckon you're gonna go back anyway.
Well, let us see the show. Come on, please, mister. It won't do no harm to no one. Just let us in. We worked for it. Let us in, won't you?
Beat it. Come on, Sheriff. Get him out of here. They're holding up the line.
But you said that you...
Beat it.
Come on, boys. Come on.
All we want to do is see the circus. That ain't no crime. You can take us back after, but now, please, we want to see the circus.
Oh?
If we had folks, then it would be all right, wouldn't it? Then we could stay, couldn't we? If we had a ma and pa, then we could see the circus. But we ain't got no ma and pa. We ain't got no right to do anything. A kid without a ma and pa's got no right to have fun. He's got no right to go to the circus. You can't blame us for being orphans. It ain't our fault.
I never did get to see a circus. Not that circus, not any circus. A little later, I left the home and went to work on a farm out west. A little farm. A farm so far away from any other farm that even the snakes were lonesome. I was there maybe 6-7 years, and it was all right, I guess. The man I worked for was all right, I guess. It was all right for an orphan, I guess. When you're alone, it's better to be alone by yourself, far away and alone. When you don't see people, many people, hardly any people, then it's not bad. You get to learn to live by yourself, all by yourself, finding things to do by yourself. It wasn't bad. Then when the war came, even way out there I had a number, and pretty soon my number was called. I was in service. This isn't about what happened to me in the war, so I'll skip that. It's about what happened a few months after the war, when I was with the occupation troops in Germany. It's funny, but during the war, I wasn't sure what I was fighting for. I didn't really think much about it, I guess. It wasn't until later, till after it was all over, I found out. Because of something that happened to me. Something that had to do with kids. With one kid in particular. I remember how it began. I was with a friend of mine, and we borrowed a Jeep.
You have to take those curves on two wheels, Bob? You in a hurry or something?
Say, what's eating you, Steve? You've been moping all day.
Schlotten.
Come again?
In Schlottensee, there's a DP camp. And in the DP camp, they've got what they call a home for unaccompanied children. That's a new one on me.
What are you talking about?
Calling it a home for unaccompanied children. Loose kids hanging like the way wet socks hang from a line. Orphans, most of them at least. Orphans without papers, see?
Papers?
Yeah, not even first-class orphans. Not even real notarized paper orphans like me. Maybe some of them have got folks alive somewhere, but who knows where. So they can't be called orphans. So they're called unaccompanied children. Sticks in your throat when you say it.
Yeah, tough deal.
I went in and saw them. Oh, sure, some committee's doing a job with them, putting fat on their bones and clothes on their back. But it's a tough job to make them kids, real kids, kids who can laugh and play and scrap like kids should scrap, not stand around moping the way they do.
How was it in the orphanage you was at?
How do you think it was? It was always watching something come up the road and by the home and never stopping. No one ever coming in and saying, we'd like to visit for a while with Stevie Devon. It was me and all the others, all the time. Never me alone. Never me having something for myself, something mine, like even a book or a taped-up baseball. It was playing games, not because you felt like playing games, but because it was game-playing time. Said so in the schedule. It was game-playing time, and so you chucked the ball around, and when the whistle blew, you got on line, and so did the others. Hey, listen. A circus. A circus. A real circus, sure enough. Hey, stop for a sec, will you?
How do you figure that got through the war?
Who knows? You ever been to a circus?
Sure, lots of times.
I never seen one.
You kidding?
Never seen one.
Well, come on, let's take this one in. We still got a couple of hours open on our pass.
No, wait a minute. Turn this thing around and take that road to the left.
That road? Where to?
To Schlottensee. I went in the gate, past the guard at the gate. The gate that was really only a passage through rolls of barbed wire. This fellow Stone was in his office. The sign on the door said, Alexander Stone, American Joint Distribution Committee. Outside in the open space between the buildings and the barbed wire, there were groups of teachers and kids. I stood and watched. Some kids were being fed. Some were working hard, trying to learn, of all things, how to play again. So I went in and told Stone my idea. How about it, I said. How about taking the kids, all the kids, to the circus?
A circus? A real circus? Here in Berlin?
Yeah, it's called Blumenfeld, and it's on the Hauptstrasse at Berlin-Zellendorf.
An honest-to-goodness, legitimate circus?
Real as rock. Acrobats, clowns, a little Ferris wheel that runs on elbow grease, even one of them leaky radiator organs.
How could we get the kids there?
Dozen 10-ton trucks.
Army trucks?
Sure.
You'll need orders.
That's right, and we'll need soda pop and candied peanuts and balloons.
Can you get them?
I've already got them.
Okay. I'll get in touch with Blumenfeld. We'll buy out the house for next Thursday afternoon. We'll take every kid in camp.
Hey, that's swell.
Thanks for the idea, Devon.
Say,
Yes?
You know something, Mr. Stone? I ain't never seen a circus. Never once, even. You think maybe I could sneak in and watch?
I think so.
Hey, that's wonderful. Well, I'll see you next Thursday. See you at the circus. They unloaded the kids from the trucks. Not like kids usually pile out of trucks, pouring out over the sides and through the back, yelling and squealing. Not these kids. They came out one by one, quiet, looking at the ground mostly. Only sometimes throwing a fast look at the circus tent, the gay streamers, the pictures painted on canvas. They stood in a line, and when someone told them to walk, they walked. They sat down on the benches, circled with little heads around the arena, and we passed out candy to them and peanuts and balloons that I'd liberated from a blasted-out toy shop. And Mr. Stone came over to me. When he saw me, he came over and shook hands with me, and he had a kid with him.
Devons, you've done wonderfully. Candy, peanuts, everything.
Yep, even balloons.
I brought Simpha here over to meet you. Simpha, this is Corporal Devons.
How do you do?
Say, you speak pretty good American.
My father was a teacher in Warsaw. He taught me English.
Ah, well, I'm pleased to meet you,
Simcha.
In Hebrew, Simcha means joy.
Well, we sure got plenty of real Simcha around here today, huh?
Corporal Devons, we thank you very much for the refreshments. We will enjoy them very much. We are going to have a good time. Thank you.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Come on, I think they're all set to start. Let's get to our seats. Hurry up. We don't want to miss anything. The circus is ready to start. The acrobats came first. You should have seen them. Now, this fella, he gets out on that wire with nothing but a long stick. He walks and bounces and dances on that wire without even a net on him. Nothing on him. He does somersaults and stands on one foot and walks backward and forward. It was terrific. Finally, for the end of his act, get this. He gets a bicycle and rides it out on the wire. Right out on the wire. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Hey, how about that? Wasn't that great? Did you see that? How about it?
Why does the man do that?
Why? Why, because... Well, it's a trick. You think you could do it?
Why should I do it?
Well, you shouldn't, but he...
Don't eat your peanuts that way, Simcha. Break the shells first.
How about some more candy? How about some more, Simcha?
No, thank you. I still have some in my bag.
I guess you don't go much for wire walkers, do you?
It was very interesting.
Hey, what's this now? Hey, this is going to be something you're going to love. Wait till you see this. A trained bear. This was something like I never seen before. This guy with a bear, he had it trained so that it rode on roller skates and did all kinds of tricks. Then a monkey jumped on the bear's back, and the two of them skedaddled around the circle. It was hilarious. It was the funniest thing you ever saw. The monkey jumping up and down on the bear's back, and the bear skating around the ring. I was laughing so hard I almost threw my ribs out of joint. Holy mackerel, how about that, huh?
Why does the man have a whip?
What, you mean the fella in the middle of the ring?
Yes, he had a whip.
He's called the ringmaster, Simcha. Ringmasters always have whips.
It hurts very much when you're whipped.
Sure. Yeah, I know, but see, this is different. He isn't hurting anyone with the whip. Not even the bear. He just snaps it.
Thin whips hurt more than thick ones. They cut.
Yeah, but look, don't you see, kid? He wasn't whipping anyone. He was just snapping it.
It was very interesting.
Well, I guess maybe it wasn't so good, huh? But wait a minute. Now, you just wait. This is something that's really going to give you a thrill. Now, watch him. Now, there's the man on the flying trapeze. That fellow on that trapeze, oh, listen, he was just out of this world. You never saw stunts like it. He'd swing way out over the stand, sitting on the bar, and then just like that, he'd go flying off. You'd think he'd be a goner for sure. When his heels would catch onto the bar, and there he'd be, swinging back and forth, just by the heels, twisting suddenly, catching another trapeze. I tell you, it gave me butterflies in my belly. It was sensational. Well, I was having a great time just watching him when I happened to look at Simka. He wasn't looking at the act at all. He had his head hung down on his chest. His hands were white from clutching the candy bag he was holding. And I could see his little body shivering and all hunched up. What's the matter, kid?
I don't like to see men hanging from ropes.
Oh.
But it's very interesting.
Yeah. Hey, look what I got for you. This is an extra special balloon. The only striped one in the whole lot I had. Here. Blow it up.
Blow it up?
Yeah. Yeah, go on. Put it in your mouth. Oh, no. Don't chew it. Just kind of grip it in your lip. Now blow into the opening. Oh, harder. You can do better than that. Blow hard. Go on. Blow. That's it. Again. Keep it up. Again. I guess this isn't making too much of a hit with the kids, huh, Mr. Stone? Just look at them. They're all just frozen up like they didn't understand it.
Oh, I think they understand it all right. It's not that.
Well, what is it?
They just don't know what's expected of them.
Expected of them? I don't get it. Nothing's expected of them. They're just supposed to be having a good time.
The circus is a place one goes to for thrills, for excitement. The adventure of watching dangerous things. These youngsters have been brought up in a far larger circus than this. Every day of their lives, they've known danger. They've known it intimately. Lived with it. The way American kids live with automobile rides, picnics, and Saturday matinees. They don't need the thrills of artificial danger. They know the horror of the real thing.
Yeah, but this is only fun. It's just something to laugh at.
Yes, providing you've learned how to laugh. They just don't understand laughter. They've never known it.
Well, you can't have kids without their knowing how to laugh. That makes them something else. But kids, that makes them... Hey, wait, kid. That balloon busted, that's all. It was only the balloon.
Please, take me away. I don't like it here. Take me away.
Sure, Simcha. Come on.
I'm sorry, kid.
It was very amusing.
Kids without laughs. Quiet kids. Kids that sit around and keep twisting their hands and lining up when you tell them to line up, and then marching without song. We're going to teach these kids lots of things. How to plant crops, how to build bridges, how to split an atom even. But what I want to know is this. When are we going to teach them to laugh?
Eternal Light drama today, special performance, was written by Milton Wayne. The music was composed by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Milton Cadence. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical introduction. Gary Merrill was featured as Corporal Devons, and the entire production was under the direction of Frank Patt. Present the Eternal Light is made available by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. If you have any comments or inquiries about today's broadcast, please write to the Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
And it shall be a statute forever in your generation. The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's program, The Head of the Table, has been written for radio by Irv Tunick. Peter Capell will be featured as Dr. Israel Kligler. From Jerusalem, looking up from Jerusalem, up from the shadowed antiquity of the old city of Jerusalem, the Hebrew University crowns the heights of Mount Scopus, its towers barely seen above the cedars and the palms. This was his workshop. On Scopus, Mount Scopus, the Mount of the Beacon, where today atomic physics is being taught in the language of Isaiah, where the student of the Talmud shares his library life with the student of agronomy. This was his laboratory. Here the little man, the very little man, barely 5 feet tall, the man with the shy smile and thick-lensed glasses. Here in the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, Israel Kligler labored in the purpose of man.
In answer to your recent letter, I shall try to aid you by recalling some facts and disillusioning you about others regarding the background of my brother, Dr. Israel Kliegler. We lived in a province of Austria that is now a part of Poland. Our father was a cattle dealer in a small town and was fairly successful. We were 6 children, and it took a lot of providing. Our mother died in 1898. In 1900, Father left for America and established himself in business on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. My brother Israel was only about 12 when Father left Europe. He had been known in our town as the best student, the best by far, in the Hebrew school. He spent his whole day studying with the chief rabbi, and all that he talked about, all that he dreamed about, was to be a rabbi. One day, Father sent for us. He had worked hard and saved hard, and somehow there was enough to pay our passage. You can imagine what excitement was produced.
Where's Israel? He's not packed yet. Not anything, Irving. We're going to be late.
Did he say where he went? Where did he go?
Should I pack this coat, this old coat? Look, it has no elbows in the sleeves.
Don't pack it, wear it.
But I'm wearing 3 coats already.
How much you wear, that's how much you won't have to carry. The candlesticks. Don't forget the candlesticks.
Where should I wear the candlesticks?
You'll put them in the bundle.
Here's Israel. Here he is now. It's here.
Israel, we only have an hour, less than an hour. Now hurry up and start packing.
I'm not leaving.
What?
What?
I'm staying here.
What do you mean? We've got to...
Shh. Israel, listen. They are coming for us with the carriage in less than an hour.
I'm not going. I don't want to go.
But you gotta go.
I can stay with a rabbi. In the rabbi's house. I can work in the synagogue, cleaning up, doing things.
Please, Israel, everything is mixed up enough. Don't you start. Put on all those clothes we put aside for you. You'll have to wear 3 pairs of pants and 2...
Goodbye.
What?
Goodbye. Tell Father I'm sorry. Tell him goodbye.
Israel, come back. Come back here, Israel.
Now what? Everything.
Oh, keep on with the packing.
Where are you going?
To the rabbi's house to get Israel. Make him come, Rabbi. He's got to come with us. He can't stay here.
I can stay here. Can't I stay here, Rabbi?
You can stay, Israel. Of course you can stay.
There, you see?
But you mustn't stay.
But why? Tell me why.
Because you are young. Because this is an evil country.
I don't care. Here with you, I can study. I can learn what I want to learn. I don't want to go anyplace else. This is the only place I want to be.
Israel, in the next town only. How far away is that? In the next town, they have had pogroms. They are coming here soon. Do you think they won't come?
Let them come.
You can study in America. They have schools in America, don't they, Rabbi?
I've been told so.
There.
But who would care about me in America? Who would care if I worked or if I didn't work? Who would know? If I did study, suppose I did. Suppose I could. If I did study, who would think that was important? In America, I know, I've read this. In America, it is important to wear fine clothes and have your own carriage. And people are so busy making money that they don't care about a scholar. Isn't that right, Rabbi?
Well, I don't know, Israel.
I want to study the Talmud. I want to be like the rabbi. I want other people from all over to come to me and ask me about the Talmud. Ask me questions the way they do the rabbi. Who would ask about the Talmud in America? Even if I became a great scholar in America, what good would that be? This is where that matters, not in America.
Israel, I will tell you a story. Will you listen?
Yes?
Once in a little village, there was a very wise man, a sage, a man of great distinction. But he was extremely modest. He disliked being honored. Well, this wise man was once invited to a banquet. The host wished to seat him at the head of the table, which, according to custom, was his due. Are you listening, Israel?
Yes.
Well, when the wise man came into the room where the banquet was taking place, he modestly chose a seat among the poor,
at the foot of the table. The host immediately arose and asked his other guests to take their places alongside of the scholar at the foot of the table. When one of them demurred, said that he was accustomed only to the honor of being placed at the head of the table, the host replied, "My master, wherever our scholar sits, there is the head of the table." You understand the meaning of that, Israel?
Yes, sir. I see.
Wherever you go, if you go in the light of the Lord, there is the place of honor. It's late, Israel. They will be coming for you soon.
I won't be late. I'll be ready.
The city, the ugliness of the city, the dissonance of the city, trains roaring overhead, the constant thunder of the city, strange tongues lashing strange words as he fumbled his way through the city. This was his welcome to America. The schoolrooms, the long stacks of books in the library, the flicker of gaslight on the small print of thick books. This was the treasure of the city.
I just got my card. It's a new card.
I'm perfectly aware of that fact. You have 6 books here.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You may take only 4.
Only 4?
Only 4.
Please,
Those are the regulations. They're printed on your card.
But I can't come back for another week. I work during the day, and I can't come during the day. Only on this afternoon.
Well, take 4 now and 2 next week.
But 4 books will only last 4 days.
That's ridiculous. You can't read an entire book in one day.
Sure I can. Sometimes more. Thick books, they take longer, but the skinny ones, they go fast.
At that rate, you'll have read your way through the library in 6 months.
I was thinking about that.
What will you do then? Start all over?
No, ma'am. I'll just go to the big library uptown. They'll have enough to last me lots longer.
I have your letter requesting information about Israel Kliegler, which I hasten to answer. As you know, he was both a student and colleague of mine. I consider him one of the 2 products of my 30 years of teaching, of whom I'm most proud. The remarkable thing, the thing I best remember about Kliegler, was his intensity, his enormous industry, the fervor with which he applied himself to every job he tackled. I'm certain that his early Talmudic training, the discipline it taught him, was reflected in his scientific accomplishments. If Palestine today is actively free of malaria, that achievement is almost exclusively due to Kliegler, to his energy and his readiness to give his whole personality to his great experiment. Have you ever heard the story of Mulacha, an Arab village in the Hula region of Palestine? It was during the Second World War, the early years of the war.
Get a gang over here, rip down the side of this ditch. Tompkins, can you spare a couple of men with shovels? Right away. Now hurry it up. We haven't got all day. Gotta push on. Come on.
Don't tear down that dike.
Huh?
What are you trying to do here?
Who are you?
Stop it, all of you. Stop it.
Now, what is this? What do you mean, Barker?
I'm Israel Kliegler.
Oh, Kliegler, connected with the malaria station at Rosh Pina. Know of you, of course.
Why are these irrigation dikes being torn down?
Flooding the fields.
What?
That's right. Government's decided to grow rice on this land.
You can grow rice without flooding the fields.
Wouldn't doubt it, but the orders are to flood the fields, and that's exactly what I intend to do.
You know what you're doing. You know what will happen if you flood these fields?
Certainly, they'll get wet.
Listen.
Oh, bosh. Come on now.
Listen to me. If you flood these fields, you'll be committing murder. Murder, do you hear that? Murder.
I'm afraid
For over 20 years, we've been fighting to cleanse this region of malaria. And we've done it. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it.
Before we came, before we started our work, almost every Arab child born here during the spring and summer months died before its first birthday. When I first came to Palestine, this place wasn't a country. It was a graveyard. This entire region, all this land around Lake Huleh was...
I don't know why you're so concerned, Kliegler. This isn't your land we're flooding.
You think a malaria mosquito knows the difference between a farm owned by an Arab and a farm owned by a Jew? Is there any difference? Listen, if you flood these fields, if you reopen the door to malaria, the door we've been fighting to keep shut, everybody in this area, Jews, Arabs, English, everybody will suffer. In one day, you'll undo the work of 20 years.
Well, that's just going to be too bad. I've got orders. You can see for yourself if you like. The administration says if the fields are to be flooded, and flooded they will be.
Wait a day. A few hours. Let me wire Jerusalem.
No, sir. Orders are orders. And you'd better move out of the way, because if you don't, you'll get your feet wet.
There was nothing to do, nothing that Kliegler could do. His labor of years, the almost total elimination of malaria from the marshlands of northern Palestine, a scientific accomplishment that had won him the unrestrained admiration of every public health authority in the world, all this was sacrificed to a policy of the moment, short-sighted, tragic, cruel. Kliegler from his laboratory in the Hebrew University wrote me about it. He told me what would happen. A year later, it did happen. A delegation of Arabs came to him.
I will speak for the others, Dr. Kliegler.
All right.
We are from the village of Malacha in Hula.
Oh, yes.
It has been very bad with us.
I know. I've seen the reports of your village. We sent as much medicine as we could. Whatever we could.
There is a death in the village every day, sometimes 2, sometimes 3.
Why did you flood your fields?
To grow rice.
Rice? Were there any men left to harvest the crop?
We were ordered.
If you were ordered to slit the throat of your son, would you do it?
The orders came from the administration.
I know.
Many years ago, you first came to us, Dr. Kliegler. Do you remember me? I was only a young man then. My father was the muhtar of the village. When you came to our house, you gave my little sister lemon drops.
That was many years ago. How do you remember?
I remember. After the first few years of your work, after you struggled to get my people to understand about malaria, to drain the swamps, to cover all water, to live like men and not cattle. After that, when a child born on a feast day might live to see another feast day. After that, the people of my village, in gratitude, had a feast in your honor. Do you remember that, Dr. Kliegler?
Yes, I remember.
Well, when the feast was over, after you had gone, when the men of the village were sitting around having their final smoke, it was decided then, it was agreed, that you, Dr. Kliegler, you were the smallest man ever to sit at the head of our table.
He had been very young when he first arrived in Palestine. Some thought much too young. The welcoming group had stood in the shade of the railroad shed of Jerusalem, and they wondered about this new chief bacteriologist of the Hadassah Medical Organization. Most of them had thought, too young, and so small. Young? Yes. He had only barely passed his 30th year. But already he had battled yellow fever in the infested swamps of Mexico and Peru. Young? Yes, only 6 years out of college. Yet he had stood at the side of the immortal Noguchi and flung his challenge at the death that came with a mosquito's hum. And when he had done what everyone said could never be done, when he had shown that malaria could be controlled in Palestine, that the malaria-ridden land could be farmed, then they said, he may be young, he may be small, but he's good.
I'm sorry to be so late in responding to your request for information about Dr. Israel Kliegler. Being a nurse in Palestine these days hardly leaves one time for correspondence. I first met Dr. Kliegler in 1926, the year he was appointed Professor of Hygiene and Bacteriology at the Hebrew University. He was already well known in Palestine. His work with malaria had made his name a household word from Kula to the Negev. He continued his malaria work, but in the university, he slowly began to turn his attention to another scourge of the tropics, typhus fever, a disease that had already claimed a score of investigators. He developed a vaccine that worked beautifully on our laboratory animals. But as you probably know, in bacteriology, that's only half the story. One night we were working late, quite late.
Well, there's nothing more we can do. You have your entries up to date?
Right up to the minute.
Fine.
Are you going to publish this, Doctor?
Should I?
Of course.
Why should I?
Because it's important.
What? That you can prevent typhus in monkeys?
Yes.
The important thing is to prevent it in man.
But this will.
How do we know? We don't, do we?
No, but we must find...
We must find out exactly. My dear, do you happen to have a really lusty little bug that's just bubbling over with typhus organisms?
Yes, of course.
Bring them out.
But I...
Quickly.
Yes, sir.
The alcohol, please.
Dr. Kliegler, don't do it.
Don't do what? Let me have that hypodermic.
You're going to test the vaccine on yourself.
That's right.
Don't do it.
Didn't you say our vaccine would prevent typhus? You were sure of it?
Yes, but that doesn't mean...
I think it will prevent it, too. Here, give me a shot of the vaccine. About 25 cc.
I don't...
Before the alcohol dries.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now the bung. Be careful. Keep the gauze over the mouth of the test tube. Just slip the open end against my arm. Let the hungry little beggar feed.
Yes, sir.
It's hard to believe that the lowly little body louse can carry so much death. But it's true.
It's feeding now.
Enter this in the ledger. Call it Human Experiment Number 1.
Fever 102.4. Pulse 110. Irregular.
Still too early to tell. Much too early.
Fever 104.3. Pulse 125. Irregular.
Another few hours will tell. Another few hours. Well?
I can't see well in this light. Let me take it over to the lamp. Dr. Kliegler, it's down. Your fever is down. It's almost normal.
Good. Very good. Not perfect yet, but very good.
Later, in Arden, on the hot fingertip of Asia Minor, he would fight a raging epidemic of typhus among 1,600 people in Yemen, an ancient people stricken with an ancient disease. Almost alone, almost barehanded, he would win his battle. Later still, an appeal came for his vaccine from the Polish Red Cross. 55,000 doses were manufactured and forwarded by the Department of Bacteriology and Hygiene of the Hebrew University. There was new life for 2,000 Polish soldiers, new strength for the Allied armies. And for Kliegler, a speech by the
In the sanctuaries of science, examples of the most sublime heroism are frequent. Cases where the scientist gives his life exactly like the soldier on the battlefield. Today, we have the honor to see one of those silent heroes among us. I refer, of course, to our distinguished guest, Dr. Israel Kliegler.
Professor Israel Kliegler stood on tiptoe. The Consul General stooped.
There you are.
And pinned the medal on his breast.
I am very happy that my first letter to you about my memory of Israel Kliegler contained the information you desired. But I wonder if you also have heard of his greatest disappointment. Let me tell you about it. After Kliegler's typhus vaccine had proved successful, just about the time the United States entered the war, Kliegler returned to America. He realized that American troops would soon be going to the Near East by the thousands, perhaps by the hundreds of thousands. In this corner of the world, typhus is endemic. The possibility of an outbreak among the troops was more than theoretical. As a precautionary measure, Kliegler proposed to manufacture his typhus vaccine in quantities large enough to meet any emergency, to do it at the Hebrew University, where it would be available at a moment's notice. He spent several months here in Washington, most of the time going from one office to another. Nothing happened. Red tape. One day here in Washington, I met him for lunch.
I don't know what to do. What would you do?
Well, it's a difficult decision.
From what I gather, the Army may decide to send a commission to Palestine for typhus work at any moment. I've got to go with them. I've got to be on the spot. There's no one else that can get them to set up a research center in the Hebrew University. And now, at this stage of the game, I get this letter from the refugee colony in the Dominican Republic asking me to come down and help them set up a sanitation program.
Well, how bad are things there?
Must be bad. Reading between the lines, you can see how bad. Invite me, that's what the letter says, but I know better. This isn't an invitation. This is an appeal. They need help, and they are begging me to come there and help them fight malaria, yellow fever, and every other tropical disease in the book.
What are you going to do?
You've read the letter, haven't you? Yes. Could you refuse their appeal?
No.
Neither can I.
He was gone only a few weeks when I learned that the commission had been appointed, that a plane had been chartered to take them to Palestine, and that it was due to leave in 24 hours. I sent a wire to Israel at once, but by the time he arrived, the plane had left without him. He tried to get passage on another plane. The State Department and the English ambassador did everything possible. But the Army controlled priorities, and finally there was nothing left but for him to take a freighter to Dakar. From there he took a plane to Cairo, then by auto to the university.
Dr. Kliegler, welcome home. Did you just get back?
Yes. The United States Army Commission. Where are they?
They left 3 days ago.
What about the Typhus Research Center? Did they say anything about it?
They said they would set it up, but not here. Not in Palestine.
I will not say that this disappointment was the direct cause of Israel's death, but I do know how much he'd set his heart on the project. He felt that only the United States could make sufficient money available to do all the work and research that was needed to be done in the Near East. And he felt, too, that this work could only be done in the Hebrew University, the true scientific heart of that part of the world. He was on an inspection trip to the malaria research stations near Lake Eula when he was stricken suddenly by a heart attack.
Get some water, quickly. Please, somebody get him some water.
I wonder.
What? What is it, Dr. Kliegler?
I wonder.
Shh. Don't talk.
Where are we now?
They've taken you into the dining hall. It's cool here. The ambulance will be here soon.
The dining hall. Let me see. Lift me up a little.
Please. Very well.
Thank you. You see, at the foot. No. At the head of the table.
From Jerusalem, looking up from Jerusalem, up from the shadowed antiquity of the old city of Jerusalem, the Hebrew University crowns the heights of Mount Scopus, its towers barely seen above the cedars and the palms. This was his laboratory. And do not think it is locked, for it is not. Israel Kliegler still works in the Hebrew University. His books are still there, his students are there, his spirit is there. As truth never dies, neither does knowledge. Today, high on Mount Scopus, in the midst of turmoil, in a land of battle lines and armored convoys, they are building. Mortar is being poured and walls are going up. And from every direction, people are massing, waiting for the road to Scopus to be freed again, waiting to join hands in a quest for the indestructible, for knowledge and for truth.
Our Eternal Light drama today, The Head of the Table, was written by Irv Tunick. The music was composed and conducted by Morris Momorsky. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical introduction. Peter Capell was heard as Dr. Israel Kliegler, and Bryna Rayburn as the nurse. The entire production was under the direction of Edward King. Free time to present The Eternal Light is made available by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This weekly program is presented under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America in cooperation with the National Broadcasting Company. If you have any comments or inquiries about today's broadcast, please write to Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York City. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.